Doc, meron po bang edad talaga na parang nagiging mas ano bang edad ang mature na yung isang bata? Kasi napapansin natin parang pabata na pabata, parang ang pag-iisip ng isang bata parang ano na parang matanda na rin. Yan din po yung sentro ng debating lalo na pag usapan sa juvenile justice law. Pero gusto ko po makuha yung sa scientific basis mismo, Doc, no? Kung ilang taon ba ang isang individual na meron ng adult na klase ng pag-iisip po?
So actually, you'll probably be surprised by that answer, ha? So brain development, most studies show it actually reaches up to age 25. There's a recent study showing pa nga na brain development is up to 32 years old. So when we talk about brain development, ito yung pag fully developed yung prefrontal cortex natin. So importante yan with mga executive function. And kaya napapansin natin sa mga mas bata, kahit early 20s pa nga, na may ginagawa na hindi natin naiisip yung mga consequences, yung mga resulta long term sa mga ginagawa natin. So, if you're gonna talk about like fully developed prefrontal cortex, that would be around age 25 actually.
Opo. Kasi halimbawa may mga issue. Ito dati na rin po mga na-encounter ko po ng mga CICL, no, yung mga Children in Conflict with the Law, na mismo alam na nila na dahil alam na nila na hindi sila maaring magkaroon ng criminal liability, sila mismo yung iba pa magdadala pa nga ng sarili nilang yung mga birth certificate bilang patuloy na sila ay menor na edad. So kung iisipin mo, parang may isip na tong batang to, marunong na siyang mag-analisa at tila alam na niya yung tama at mali, Doc.
Well, even sa mga younger ages na, kahit age 7, we know what is right and wrong already. Pero, malaking bagay na paano tayo pinalaki. So, the environment surrounding us, yung principles na in-instill sa atin ng mga parents natin, yung like respect for rights ng fellow human beings natin. So a lot of these factors have to do with yung upbringing ng mga kids natin. So they don't just come out as people who plan to commit a crime. I would like to understand ano yung background ng mga kids na how they ended up this way. So malaking bagay yun nga, the environment they grew up with. So sino yung mga caregivers nila? Paano sila inaalagaan? Uh, Nababantay ba sila? Kasi it seems like there has been planning for some time. Usually naman makikita natin yung mga signs even early on as early as pwedeng naglalay, nagsisteal, affected na yung mga grades din. Pwede rin yung sila din yung nagbubully or nabubully din sila. It can also be abuse of animals din, ha? So you would see these warning signs. So of course, as early as possible, it's up to the parents or the guardians na to identify these problems and seek intervention.
Opo. Dito po sa isa sa mga malimit na sinisisi agad, no? Sa kakalaro mo 'yan, sa kakapanood mo 'yan. Meron na pong binan ang ating authorities na isang laro. Meron po bang scientific basis po ito, ma'am, na na-impluwensyahan lalo na yung mga kabataan sa kanilang nilalaro? Kasi maraming laro ngayon na puno ng violence sa kanilang napapanood lalo na sa social media, hindi na sa TV kasi mas more na yan sila sa social media. Meron po bang paliwanag ang science na malaki ang tsansa na kapag lagi ka at na-addict ka na nito, maisa sa buhay mo yan at pwedeng mangyari itong ganitong insidente doon sa Tacloban?
So violent behavior in general, hindi naman siya simplified na, oh, it's caused by a certain computer game. So like I pointed out earlier, it's multifactorial. So kasi magtataka din kayo, ang dami-dami, milyon-milyon ay naglalaro din ng mga computer games pero iilan lang ang umaabot na nagko-commit ng ganitong karumal-dumal na krimen at a very, very, very young age. So there are many factors to consider. So what is different from sa story na tong two young boys? So we can look at yung environment nila, upbringing nila. Sila ba ay properly guided when it comes to exposure sa social media or anything in the internet? Sila ba ay nababantayan in general? Kasi actually, the most common form of child abuse is neglect. And it says a whole lot na kaya nga makakuha sila ng baril at a very young age. They can post it on social media and nobody is correcting them. They already manifest nga yung mga preoccupation when it comes to violence. One of the kids was able to buy a T-shirt na it's actually a German industrial rock band. Although this band's message is anti-war, anti-violence, pero naging popular siya because ito yung T-shirt na sinuot ng Columbine shooter. So he was able to obtain it, and people aren't able, yung mga family members niya, whoever was surrounding them, they didn't call him out. So I wonder, ano nga yung backstory na actually, when we look at it then, probably yung pag-gaming niya, it's out of yung preoccupation niya when it comes to violence. And at the same time, we see a lot of cases then yung mga kids, they go into gaming because it's their form of escape. Kasi maraming nangyayari sa bahay. So instead of suffering through what is going on at home, they rather na spend their time dun sa computer game na lang din. So kaya you were pointing out earlier nga na ginagawang nanny, yaya, yung tablet natin. So sana din na we have to realize when we bring life into this world, ang laki ng responsibilidad ng parents, ng guardians, na hindi kayo basta-basta, you're gonna pop out kids there, and then you just give 3 meals a day and let them go to school and that's it. Kailangan nila yung gabay ninyo. Kailangan, you set at an example. So, big deal din yan, Hana. Hindi porket you tell the kid, oh, you do this, pero kayo mismo hypocrite. So, sana ma-realize din natin na ganun kalaki yung responsibilidad when we bring life into this world.
Ma'am, na pag-uusapan po natin yung upbringing, may malaking factor po ba yung quality ng disiplina na nakukuha ngayon ng mga kabataan? Kasi kung mga panahon namin, mahigpit eh. Mahigpit yung disiplina nung mga nagdaang mga panahon. Pero pag ginawa mo yun ngayon, mahulog
Child
na...
abuse.
Child abuse.
Oh.
Pero at least, nung kabataan ko, takot akong gumawa ng mali dahil alam ko na talagang may paglalagyan ako pag gumawa ako ng kalokohan. Anong tingin niyo dyan, ma'am, sa siyensya?
So, MJ, I suspect pa nga that I'm older than you. I just look young.
Mhm.
Pero, I'm actually Gen X. Pero, so I went through that type of upbringing as well. Iba yung tamang disiplina, iba pa rin yung abuse. So, actually, iniisip ng mga tao, I'm actually surprised with this na a lot of people think child abuse is just physical abuse. Pero there are so many studies showing pa nga na verbal abuse, the outcome can actually be worse than physical abuse. And then people are also not aware kasi I see this all over, like on the streets and everything, na the most common form of child abuse is neglect. So it's not a matter of, kasi dati sa time natin ay yung ganito yung disiplina. For some time now, ganito nga yung disiplina, but there are cases nga, the situation is so much worse. Like yung socio-economic status pa lang ng family, it says a whole lot already na things are difficult. What more, kung everybody is working pa, ilan ba silang magkakapatid? Ano ba yung mga financial situation, relationship situation na it's very questionable pa nga na na how can a person this young be able to obtain a firearm? Kaya although these are hypothesis and speculation, pero we can also see na as parents, like definitely they have to step up, and there is definitely a problem resulting to this incident.
Opo, may factor din po ba ma'am sa upbringing ng bata yung mga produkto po ng broken family?
Well, okay. So I would like to emphasize, kasi yung notion ng ibang tao ay broken family kasi walang, isa lang yung parent, walang tatay. So there's a statistic now, if I'm not mistaken, 57% of children are raised without their fathers. So ideally, we would have both parents. Pero hindi naman lagi ganun yung story. And I've also encountered a lot of cases. Wow, magkasama yung parents pero sobrang dysfunctional naman sa loob ng family, away ng away, ang gulo-gulo. So that's not an environment that you would like to bring up your kid. So na-witness din nila na all the abuse, all the violence, all the yung harsh words na sinasabi. And that is the form of example they will see when it comes to yung relationship between sa mga parents nila. We also see a lot of cases din na dahil sa kahirapan na one or both of yung parents ay away, nagiging OFW. So yung mga bata, pinapasa na lang to other relatives. So that is not something that the kids would feel secure. So, yes, there are many, many, many challenges in bringing people into this world. Pero we have to factor in not just finances, pero we also have to factor in our own emotional, mental, physical stability. And then, kung halimbawa you have all that, we would also want to factor in time. So, like yung nakikita natin nga na both parents are working. So, sino ang nagbabantay sa bata? Binibigay na lang ay yung tablet. And here's the problem. When we allow kids into the internet, it's equal to we allow them to step out into the gate and go anywhere in the world and talk to anybody without any advice. So ganon ka-extent na I hope the parents will realize na ang laki ng danger na inaalaw natin. So kahit you're within the four walls of your home, but you allow a tablet to the kid nga, you are allowing, mga predators, mga dangerous information. A lot of times, kahit sa mga adults, di ba nga, yung natin, we are illiterate. Parang 19 million of our Filipinos are functionally illiterate. So not necessarily pa nga na it's just kids with na maybe lacking in discernment. Pero maraming adults din are lacking in discernment. So I don't know how to fix this, pero sana we improve na yung educational system natin kasi we are lagging very, very far behind.
Opo, Doc, may scientific, ano po yung scientific explanation or psychiatric explanation? Bakit po may mga bully? Psychiatric disorder po ba yan, ma'am? Ano po ang nasa likod niyan? Bullying.
So, when I encounter, people tend to, naawa sila sa victim of the bullying. But I would tend to look at the bully. Kasi I would look at the background, anong nangyayari sa buhay ng kid na yun ang ginagawa niya yung pagbubully. And a lot of times we see na a very dysfunctional family. There's a story behind it. A kid doesn't just come out and become a bully. So yung mga actions natin, kadalasan may mga background story yan. And since we are talking about children, so saan ba siya nanggaling? So a lot of times, it's something at home.
Opo, Doc, balikan ko lang yung bullying at saka yung mga term na depression. Naalala ko tuloy yung na sumentro din sa maraming nang bash doon kay Senador Robin Hood Padilla nung sinabi niya na ngayon lang nagiging uso ngayong panahon na generation ngayon yung mga salitang ganyan. Na dati, though merong mga salitang ginagamit niyan, pero parang hindi masyado siyang napapansin, Doc, kasi yun nga siguro yung disiplina, pagdidisiplina ba dati hindi na applicable ngayon din yung mga bullying kasi hindi sa ako yung nambubully, meron pa ring bully pero noon, pero parang hindi mo siya binabaliwala mo lang siya. Ngayon kasi parang napapansin ko sa mga bagong henerasyon, parang madaling magdamdam, ano po kaya explanation po niyan, Doc?
I think I believe it's very unfair to compare one generation from the other kasi each generation is totally different. Kaya it would be very, it's very uneducated to compare na, oh, time natin is like this and time natin is like that. So like I said, I came from a generation growing up with no, like our source of information is the encyclopedia. Diba? And then like yung mga super rich lang many years later na they have the computer already. So information that time was not like well versed to a whole lot of people. So very limited lang yung information natin. So mga mental health conditions, it was there for the longest time. Hindi lang pinag-uusapan. We started like vocalizing about it actually during the pandemic. Pero when I started my practice, when I was starting psychiatry, that was about 16 years ago. Like most of the cases that I see, like they've been experiencing symptoms for how many years already before seeing a psychiatrist. So it's unfair to say nga na, because nga na ito yung generation, this is how they feel. Pero what I admire about this yung younger generation, they are very self-aware. They recognize yung mga kakayahan nila at yung mga limitations nila. They know how to ask for help. Kasi unlike yung mga older generation, mga generation ko, I am Gen X, na parang puro tiis, pero yung pala nagsasuffer. Like I do have a lineage that has died by suicide, pero these are things that are never spoken about. Or alam din natin na there are many relatives out there na we don't talk about or na probably went through yung mga symptoms na to. So maganda na yon na we recognize these conditions, we are able to identify them, we are able to openly talk about them, and we can recommend management. Kaysa dati, imagine kung like in the 1800s, are there antidepressants ba then? Pero now, we have ways to manage these symptoms. Kaya sana yung mga natin, politicians natin, yung people who have a voice naman, be careful with what you talk about. Your opinion, kung halimbawa is destructive, I hope naman you would like to educate yourself in these things kasi you speak for the Filipino people. And kaya we have these opportunities na to talk about mental health kasi we would want to destigmatize the idea when it comes to mental health.
Opo. Sa ilalim po ng juvenile justice, ma'am, wala nga pong pananagutang kriminal, yung 15 years old below, pero merong mga intervention. Kakayanin po ba ito ng mga intervention or hindi rin ito basta-basta para mabago po yung buhay ng isang CICL, yung isang minor de edad na na-involve sa krimen?
Well, if you're gonna ask na, like, have I seen cases na they have, these are children in conflict with the law, and did they improve with intervention? I've seen cases. Pero of course, it entails a lot of work kasi we are talking about years of adverse childhood experiences, whatever situation that was happening in their family, na they ended up this way. So, gumagawa kami, yung, when I was at that position, we were given them like, we were good examples, we provided structure, we provided consistency of parenting. We provided ano yung pinaka-needs. So, hindi naman kailangan perfect parent eh, pero yung kailangan ay good enough parent. So, basically, ganon yung role nga when it comes to yung mga rehabilitation sa mga kids na ganito. So if you're gonna ask me at that age, it's like, yes, there is still hope din naman. Kaya, like I keep emphasizing over and over again, sana, yun nga, yung we have that self-awareness na hindi tayo basta-basta to bring life into this world. We have to be totally prepared for it. And then yung mga baggages natin, instead of passing it to the next generation, sana din na we address it para, when we address yung mga mental health issues natin, we actually become better parents.
Opo, opo. Huli na lang po ma'am, hindi lang para doon sa mga naging suspect no ng insidente sa Tacloban, doon din sa yung sa trauma nakakita noong insidente, yung krimen, to the point na parang lahat yata ng mga paaralan ba sa Tacloban parang sinuspende mo na yung pasok. Yung mga ganitong klase ng insidente, ma'am, madali lang din po ba itong makalimutan ba or maka-overcome yung mga kabataan na ito? Ano yung needed? Lalo na kung wala silang pangbayad sa professional na para ma-rehabilitate yung kanilang pag-iisip, sa part na lang din po ng mga magulang para at least man lang makalimutan or maka-move on na after nitong naging insidente, lalo na dun sa nakasaksi mismo at grabe yung traumang nalikha ng insidente po, Doc.
Yeah. So especially for this incident, definitely it's not something easy to move on to. Pero I would say then, sana we don't just simply move forward and not just simply forget. Kasi let us take this as a very, very hard lesson na there is a systematic problem going on, not just with the educational system, not just with the justice system, pero perhaps then, yun nga, as family, now what is going on that the kids are ending up like this. Pero, so for those naman who encounter this situation, the first thing, of course, is once this happens, the first thing we have to do is give immediate psychological first aid. Basically, that's ensuring the kids na you are in a safe place, that we would allow them to feel calm. We would listen if they're ready to talk, but we will not force them to recount yung traumatic experience, because sometimes that could be re-traumatizing to the kid. And then, of course, we would like to reconnect them to their support system. So usually nga mga family or other sources of support or yung guardian nila. Pero later on, probably we would have to do yung mga structured psychological debriefing, mga trauma-informed counseling. So these are usually done by mental health professionals. So as much as possible, we would like to identify as early as possible whether we start experiencing yung mga signs that we look for. So usually mga changes in behavior, changes in mood, nagiging aggressive, avoidant, sometimes they have nightmares. So if we start noticing naman din na tuloy-tuloy yung mga symptoms natin for a significant amount of time, or nakikita natin affected yung function ng bata or impairments of function, so we would like to recognize when is the right time to get professional help. So reminding them na I actually encountered a lot of cases na it's the kids who know they should be getting help. It's the parents who are stopping them. So sana we prioritize din yung kailangan ng kids instead of yung mga anxieties natin. We would like to keep an open mind and remember that we are doing this for yung next generation natin, for yung kids natin. So as long as we're able to have early detection, have support from family and community, and then we are able to identify kung before it happens na may mga symptoms na yung mga kids natin, we recognize crucial yung role natin. So sana din keep an open mind and communicate, build that relationship with your children.